This post was written on August 7th, 2016, and is a substitute for the regular Diagnosed Mortal post number 9 of January 8th, 2017. I can do this switch witchery because I am goddess of this domain. Divine discipline plus some change. I am just back from a week with Stephen Jenkinson on Cortez Island, British Columbia. I'm now faced with the impossible task of trying to relate to a few friends who are interested in what happened there at the workshop I attended. First of all, if you have ever been to a gathering of souls meeting with the intention of rattling on about unanswerable questions, you know that whatever I come up with in the telling of the tale is not going to capture even one note of the tenor of the experience. This is just not the sort of unveiling and sharing that is given to narrative. For one, Stephen Jenkinson is a complex soul who demands an intense focus and respect if you want to be able to follow along in the flow of what he's relating. One has to experience a sort of tempered falling in love with the person to really get the full dose of what they are sharing. It is similar to the kind of tacit arrangement one makes with a musician to appreciate their music as they are playing it. Please keep this in mind when I relate the following. I'm going to share with you what happened to me personally on my way home on Friday, August 5th. The last day of the workshop at Hollyhock, where I spent 5 long days mind melding and nurturing a tsunami of inspiring ideas and information about ideas, as well as stories and renewed understanding about my role in the world in being with the dying. I sketched in my notes over the week one of my pen and ink fine line drawings. I named it Catastrophe and gave it to Stephen as we all parted ways on the last day. I'm telling you this in hope that you might get a slight inkling of what this set up for me and what happens when you chance your life to your highest vibrations and the mysteries of spirit. The etymology of catastrophe is as follows. Catastrophe. The word surfaces in the 1530s. Reversal of what is expected, especially a fatal turning point in a drama. From Latin catastrophe, from Greek catastrophe, an overturning, a sudden end. From catastrophing, to overturn, turn down, trample on, to come to an end. From kata, down, Strephine, turn. Catastrophe. There's an extension to sudden disaster. That's first recorded in 1748. I flew off Cortez Island, and the journey required, when I landed, to take a shuttle from the small southern airport terminal to the larger Vancouver, BC International Airport Terminal. I boarded the shuttle, and an amiable woman in the seat across the aisle asked me from where I was headed to or returning from. I told her, I'm back from Hollyhock. It is on Cortez Island. She exclaims, Hollyhock, who did you see there? I guess the confusion registered on my face as the odds of meeting a middle-aged woman on a mass transit shuttle in a city of millions of people who understood the nature of Hollyhock as a center for spiritual enlightenment was a bit of a stretch for my concept of reality. I've been there a few times myself, she shared. Who did you see there? I told her Stephen Jenkinson. Oh, she says, yes, he's wonderful, isn't he? I had a friend who saw him a while back. How is he doing? I was told that he was very ill. What? There was a confused pause for me as I tried to cram this information to align with my week-long experience. It wasn't fitting in. I paled. I was struck dumb for a moment. Her statement seemed to echo through a universal portal and stop time with the statement, "He was ill." What? And there it was. The next level. Right there in that moment, the catastrophe. The sudden downturn of the trajectory of life with this new information. I wondered if I had been in the presence of someone who I was intensely focused on for 5 days and actually missed that he was currently struggling with dying, while he was teaching me how to navigate learning about dying. The impact of her saying this to me, given the 5 days prior, was galvanizing, and I was shocked at the prospect. It was a, "So, besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?" kind of moment. One of the most difficult things about discovering you or someone you care about is dying is the horrific awareness that everything you thought was leading one way in time and space suddenly turns down, as in catastrophic, spiraling into a completely different direction. My point here is that this is the beginning of actually understanding death, when it becomes the death and stops being my idea of death. When the ego takes the direct hit in this manner, that is when the deeper truth can emerge. This is the fertile ground where the real learning is planted, down there under all the things outside of what we pander to in defining life. This is one way how death, when befriended and tended in a relationship, can be recognized as that which provides the foundation of all things living. So that was my Canadian holiday. The catastrophic re-entry into my regular life from the 1001 other things that happened in 5 days. I will be contemplating and writing about those things for years. Important addendum. There is no indication that Stephen Jenkinson is really dying any faster than anyone else on the planet. For all I know, the woman meant he had a cold. I share this only to emphasize the point of catastrophe and the moment of realization as I interpreted what she was saying. I'm sure Jenkinson is fine. There is no indication to the contrary, just to be clear. Thank you for listening. This audio file is an addendum to the blog post Divine Discipline Plus Some Change that can be found at allthedifferentways.com.